What's going on, guys? ChaseWins.com. And guys, it's here. It is finally opening day. It is April the 1st, 2021, Thursday to be exact. And it's here. It is finally here, guys. I don't know what you guys do during the off season of baseball, but I chew my fingernails down to the nubs waiting on opening day again. Spring training's great. The thought of it, the anticipation of it, yeah, it's all great. But there is nothing like opening day. I would literally give my left leg if every day could be opening day. And it's here. And it's not going to be like 2020 where we had a 60 game regular season and everybody had to just pussyfoot around and wear a mask and look like a bunch of jackasses. We're going to get 162 regular season games of baseball. We're going to get a full playoff, hopefully back to normal playoffs. We're going to get a World Series. We're going to crown a champion, and it's going to be fantastic. So I'm going to give you a free play in baseball. Now, again, take this with a grain of salt. It is something that we've already bet. There's a full slate of baseball going on for Thursday. I usually, for opening day, don't wager a ton as far as the amount of games. I don't release a ton either because, again, spring training means nothing. And when you have an off season where a lot of changes get made within a lot of different organizations, so which happened this off season more so than I've seen in probably the last 7 or 8 seasons. Now, again, we've had seasons where more changes have been made, but there have been a lot of big changes. Teams getting rid and releasing players and trading them to other teams that are very vital parts of their lineup and their organization, like Nolan Arenado leaving Colorado and going to St. Louis. You have people that obviously John Lester probably going to be his last year, but going to the Nationals along with Kyle Schwarber. You have 2 players within or 3 players within the Cubs organization, all that have they've all avoided arbitration. They're all hoping to stay long term. One of which in particular is I'm most concerned about, and that's Javier Baez. But now you've got Dexter Fowler on the move again. There's so many moves happening. Jackie Bradley Jr. going to Milwaukee from Boston, which that was probably the biggest surprise to me in the offseason, that Boston, after wanting to get rid of Price and making it happen, but more importantly, letting Mookie go, not paying what Mookie was going to cost, and going into somewhat of a rebuild mode, not keeping the guy you could build around, and has done nothing but make your organization better since the day he was drafted. But again, we'll talk about all that in the live show on Thursday, the opening day live show. We're going to go live around noontime. We're not going to go live for more than about an hour, hour and a half, because at 1 o'clock these games are going to start. But between 2 and 2:30, I am going to be glued to the TV for the Cubs opening day. We're going to talk about that game in a minute, but let's get on a recap real quick. Guys, go to ChaseWins.com. You're going to see a lot of new things there. We're revamping the site, so you're going to see a different look. You're going to see some logos. You're going to see the header now is at the top instead of the bottom, social media links. You'll see links to videos and podcasts and stuff added throughout the week. Everything, each day that you go, you'll see more and more. We can't get it all done in one day. This has been stuff we've been working on for the past few months. And as promised, we revamped all the packages. So you can now go in and buy a 3-day, 7-day, or 30-day of any sport you want. Instead of having to get all the sports, you can get one sport. That's one thing that people want during baseball season, is to say, hey, what if I just want Major League Baseball? What if I don't want horse racing and soccer? And what if I don't want the playoffs and the late season of NBA and NHL? Just want Major League Baseball? You can do that. Keep in mind, Major League Baseball right now is on sale, and we're going to keep it that way for the opening day, opening weekend type thing. Once we get into the second week of the regular season, Major League Baseball will go up in price. It's justified. I'm not going to apologize for it. Hell, we're still going to be selling it for too cheap than we should. But right now, you can get 3 days of all premium and daily top play action for $50 in Major League Baseball. You want 7 days, which is a better bang for your buck. It's $99. $2.99 gets you an entire month, 30 days of all MLB action. Now, if you want all sports, the All Sports Pass has now changed. It now includes, which it never has before, horse racing and NASCAR. NASCAR has always been separate and never been included in anything other than an All Access Pass. You can now get an All Sports Pass for 3 days, 7 days, or 30 days. and you get everything: soccer, horse racing, baseball, basketball, everything. So go to the website. You're going to see a lot more packages there, but they are all in sections by sport. So when you see Major League Baseball, you're going to see all the Major League Baseball passes there, and then it'll go down to another sport. What we are going to do for opening day, not only do you need to jump on a 3, 7, or 30-day pass for Major League Baseball before the price goes up next week, but while you are there, make sure you jump on the Major League Baseball Futures Pass, because it is not too late to get those futures predictions in. Hell, you can do it over the next week, but if some of these teams were to go on a nice little run at the beginning of the season, maybe they don't go on a run and they go on a little losing streak to start the season, these lines and odds that are posted can change. So the best thing to do is try to get these wagers in before these teams play their first game or they complete their first series. I don't think any odds will change until after their first 3-game series is completely over with. For most of the teams. Obviously, you've got a few teams that are playing in some interleague matchups like Tampa Bay and Miami, but again, I don't think until after this weekend are you going to see major changes in a lot of those futures lines, but that's a $50 package. You get 10 futures predictions. We've got season win totals. We've got division winners. One is a team that's expected to finish dead last in their division. I've got winning the division outright. And I do this every year, and I'm right every year. There is nobody that knows this sport better than I do, and we will make you money. So jump on that pass for opening day. You can get the futures pass for $20. That's less than 50% off. But jump on that while you're there getting your 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, or your 7-day all sports pass or whatever you want, because we are crushing other sports. Let's go into a recap of what we can do. We still have a couple of games ongoing, but you'll know what those are because one of them was the free play. In NBA, we swept the board again. We had 2 plays. We had the Miami Heat. We had a -1 at -$1.10. That was a nice winner. And then we had the San Antonio Spurs. They were laying 2.5, and I didn't like that hook. So we laid the money line at -$1.30. We didn't need to. We could have laid the points, but that was also a winner. That's another 2-0 sweep in the NBA. 5 out of the last 7 NBA days, we have swept the board in NBA. So now is the time, guys. While you're there, jump on an NBA pass. This is why the All Sports Pass is a better bang for your buck, because of everything we're hot in, and you're getting our best sport in Major League Baseball. And then in hockey, like I said, 2 games still ongoing. We still have and 1 game was postponed. We did have a play in the Calgary game tonight. It was a totals prediction, but that game ended up getting postponed about an hour after we released the card. So obviously that one didn't go, but that's no harm, no foul. We had Buffalo over 5.5 tonight. We've been killing Buffalo overs. That was an easy cash. They went over by themselves. We had Toronto -140 on the money line. That was another cash. They came back and took care of Winnipeg 3-1. Excuse me. And we had Colorado on the puck line. They blistered that ass tonight. So then that's 3 straight winners in the NHL. Now we do have a play going on in the Vegas LA game, and then of course our free play that we gave on video, that one was a late game as well, so that one is still ongoing. But other than that, it doesn't matter. Both of those games can lose, and we're still going to have a profitable day. We crushed the books again today. Congrats to everyone, and I can't wait to do it with you again. Like I said, I'm going to give you a free play. Now again, you have to take these with a little bit of grain of salt. I'm going to give you all the accurate information that you need to win, and we just have to hope that the players can go out there and perform at the level we know they can, because they've been practicing for the last 6 weeks. There's no excuse for them not to, but again, there's still places where you might not have the greatest weather. There's places where it's still going to be a little bit cold. So again, it's opening day. It's not middle of the summer. So guys, always keep that in mind when you are when you're going out there and looking at early season stuff. Make sure when you're looking at places like Chicago, and you're looking at places even like St. Louis, Minnesota, San Francisco right now, outdoor parks this time of year, be careful. Look at the weather. And it's not just about rain or snow. Look at the temperature, because when it's cold temperatures and they're playing in a day game, especially in a place like Chicago, that wind can get whipping around, and it can be very difficult for players to go out there and perform just because they're out there freezing their ass off. But that also works to our advantage in this one. I've got 6 games on opening day that I like. Some of them are going to be premium plays. Some of them I'm not going to, even though I would bump it up to a premium play, I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to bet them conservatively because it is opening day. And God knows that one thing's not going to go right. Not everything can go right on opening day. There's always a surprise. We love it that way. So, what we will do is what doesn't make the premium card will probably be talked about on the live show. So, you'll want to tune into that. But if you want where the serious money's at, you need to go to chasewins.com, click the purchase tab at the top of the page, find the packages, or that you want. You want to do multiples, or get the All Sports Pass or an All Access Pass. That way you save a little bit of money. You get absolutely everything, so on and so forth. And I'll tell you this, the MLB Futures Pass for $20, that's a one-day deal. If you jump on a 7-day or 30-day All Sports Pass, one of the two, I will give you the MLB Futures Pass absolutely free. As soon as you make your purchase, I'll go in, I'll activate you. Boom, you're done. Better to do it earlier in the day. That way you don't miss out on any of the teams that are playing earlier in the day. You can catch it before any action's played. So keep that in mind. But the Cubs are taking on the Pirates, my Chicago Cubs. And God knows I'm going to have chirpers on YouTube and Twitter going, oh, it's just because it's your team. Anybody that knows anything about me, I avoid talking about the Cubs just because of the people that want to talk shit. But the funny thing is, when I talk about them and I give out plays on them, they're right. They're going up against the worst team in the division, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, even though Pittsburgh has been the worst team over the past few years, the only team that's kind of been in that same realm with them has been Cincinnati, and they made a lot of positive strides. From an offensive standpoint and from a pitching standpoint. Castillo, Trevor Bauer. Now, obviously, Trevor Bauer's gone to L.A. Even though it was short-lived, they did a lot of things. Now they're taking a step back. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, Cincinnati's rebuilding." No, they're not. They never fully were built. They were getting there. They took a couple of steps back, but I think they did it from a smart financial standpoint because they have a strong farm system. And over the next few years, I think they'll organically be able to put talent on the field instead of spending money that the organization may not truly have. Same thing goes with Pittsburgh. They're a bad team. Do I agree with them getting rid of Josh Bell and sending him to the Nationals? No, I do not. He was a player that could have been a franchise player that could have been built around. Now, I will admit, in 2020, I was a little bit disappointed in the way Bell played, but there was a lot of players that have that same persona like Josh Bell does that I was disappointed in. Vlad Guerrero. I was disappointed in Josh Bell. Hell, I was disappointed in Juan Soto a little bit. I mean, a lot of them came out a little bit overweight, a little bit sluggish. They weren't attacking the plate as much. But again, look at what you went through. You were at spring training. You were getting ready. The rug gets pulled out from underneath you. You have to go home and sit home for a few months not doing anything but home workouts because you can't be around anybody. And then you get thrown into a 60-game season where essentially you have no days off. If you get days off, it's because you're quarantined in a hotel room because there was positive COVID cases. And Pittsburgh, along with St. Louis, along with Miami, was one of those teams that COVID affected more so than the average ball club. Now, in saying that, I don't agree with them getting rid of him. I think it was a little bit of an overreaction to think that, oh, Josh Bell's going to cost too much for what he's going to be worth. I still think there was value in Josh Bell because look at what Washington got him for. And yes, Washington may have overpaid for him slightly based on 2020. But based on his career average, Washington got a good deal. And now what Washington's going to be able to do is pull him in before his year, because again, this contract that he signed with Washington is not his big deal. So what's going to happen is they're going to be able to pull him in early and they're going to sign him to a bigger deal. And it's not only going to come because now he's a part of that organization. He's got love for those guys. He's going to get to play around Strasburg, Scherzer, John Lester. Even though John Lester's not going to be there that long because he's going to retire. Look at the pitching core you have in Washington. This is a team that's not being talked about enough. Screw what they did in 2019. I think they're more deadly now because of their pitching. And you've got Josh Bell, who is a power hitter at the plate. You've got Juan Soto, that may be the all around best hitter in the game at this moment in time. Yeah, Mike Trout might be the best overall player, but I think the best hitter in the game right now is Juan Soto. Take 2020 out of it because there's a big asterisk by that. They're going to be able to get him at an undervalued price because he's going to get to play in the National League East. He's going to get to play to pitchers that might be difficult to hit off of, but when you can't hit them, you go along with them. He's going to have people around him like Juan Soto to say, this is the type of person that I need to keep me pushing to get better and better and better and better, because Juan Soto is going to keep getting better. I think Pittsburgh screwed up. I really, really do. But that aside, one of the things that the bright spot for Pittsburgh is, even though their farm system as a whole, you look at it, isn't overly impressive, they have one of the best single A farm systems in all of baseball, which means that, yes, you're still 3 to 5 years out from really getting anything up to the big league level that can let you see the fruits of your labor. But it means that it's there. They're young. They're being developed the way that the Pirates wanted to play. I like the Pirates front office and the way that they approach, the purity standpoint of the game. They want to do it organically. They want to do it, a team like Tampa Bay, like Oakland, like Kansas City. A lot of those teams that do it, like Baltimore. These clubs that have these great farm systems, because they can't afford to go buy the players, they have to develop them. That's organic baseball, and I like it. And even though Pittsburgh isn't a small market team, everybody considers them a small market team because of the demographic of Pittsburgh not being a major city. Pittsburgh's a big sports town. I mean, period. You got baseball. You got hockey. I mean, huge hockey fans. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, for Christ's sakes. That's a sports town. They're not small market. They've got money. I love their approach to doing this, to come back in a very winnable division in the NL Central. Now, is Pittsburgh going to win it this year? Absolutely not. Neither is Cincinnati. It's going to come down to who's going to win down the stretch. Right now, if you look at just the overall slate of things and what's happened in the past year, everybody's going to immediately migrate towards the St. Louis Cardinals. Truth be told, I think that it comes down to the two best teams being the Cubs and the Cardinals, with the Brewers being able to kind of bully one of these teams within their series and take that second spot. This one is going to be a division that comes down to the wire, and I think it's going to be decided within the last 10 days of the season. Right now, yeah, you may look at it and say that it is the Cardinals, but I think it's very winnable by either three of those teams, and I still think that the most talented team overall as a whole is the Chicago Cubs minus pitching. That's where they're hurting. Cardinals got him in pitching. I think in overall offense, the Cubs got him as a whole. Yeah, you bring Nolan Arenado in there. I think he's going to struggle. He's so used to playing in a joke of a baseball stadium like Coors Field where little leaguers could hit home runs. I think he's going to struggle knowing that that's not going to be the place where he plays the most. It's going to be a place that he sees a few times this year. He'll be able to capitalize on that. But overall, I think he's going to struggle at the plate. But this year, Chad Kuhl, who is one of their overall best up-and-coming pitchers in Pittsburgh, he was one of their best overall prospects that they've been following for the past few years. I think he is the perfect guy to get the start for Pittsburgh. And while I don't necessarily agree with a pitcher like Kyle Hendricks getting the nod on day one because of his style of pitching, he's got that Greg Maddux style where he's going to pitch between 83 and 92 miles an hour, a lot of curveballs, a lot of breaking balls, and he is going to make you swing at garbage. That's why they call him the professor. That's why he's the closest thing to Greg Maddux we've ever seen since Greg left the game. And that's why Kyle's one of the best pitchers in the game. I don't necessarily agree with the philosophy of not throwing a hurler out there on opening day. But Jake Arrieta's still getting back into the mix. I don't think that he has come back and been there long enough to earn the opening day spot. I think if Yu Darvish was still there and had not gone to San Diego, he may get the nod. So I think in overall and deserving it, it is Kyle Hendricks, and I'm glad that he's getting the nod. And right now, because you've got rid of people like Josh Bell and because your core is so young, even the guys there that can hit, what are they good at hitting? Fastballs, low and away, right down the middle. You think they're going to be able to hit Kyle Hendricks' nasty freaking breaking balls? Absolutely not. Now, it's going to be a cold day tomorrow. It's going to be in the 30s in Chicago. So I don't expect a high scoring game, not unless the Cubs break out and have a couple of big innings. But that's going to be used to our advantage. That's going to make it even more difficult for the Pirates to get runs, in which I don't care if it was 90 degrees out there, it's going to be difficult for those young guys to figure out such a methodical pitcher like Kyle Hendricks. So either way, Kyle Hendricks is going to be able to silence those bats if he pitches well. Usually Kyle does well in colder weather early in the season and late into the season if they play into the fall where it starts to get cold. In Chicago, especially those lake winds, right there on the north side, it gets rough. Kyle does a good job of it. So I do think that Kyle will be able to go later into the game. And now the Cubs bullpen could come back to bite them. But I think Kyle will take them far enough to be able to separate themselves a little bit, because I think Bryant, Rizzo, and Baez all fighting for long-term big money contracts to be able to be part of this organization forever. Or if one of them is going to have to be forced out, none of them want that. I pray to God Baez is the one that stays first and foremost. I do think Bryant will probably be looked at as the number 2. But right now, the Ricketts are showing that they're not just going to throw money out there. They've already kind of disrespected Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant both, especially Rizzo with what they offered him contract-wise. But I think if they all come out there and show that, hey, we're still the guys that went out there and were the best core in 2016, that duo of Rizzo and Bryant, I think you're going to get big contracts out of all these guys, and the Ricketts are going to come off of a pile of money to go right back chasing a World Series in the next 3 years. And David Ross being the manager, him being young for a management position, it's only going to go up and be carried out for the long term. I think Kyle Hendricks is going to take us at least 5. I think that those 3 guys right there are all going to be able to attribute enough to put a few runs on the board, create some separation. Once we get into the bullpens, that may be where Pittsburgh's able to strike, because Chicago does have some bullpen woes, but the woes that they have, Pittsburgh has them just as bad, which means that right there in the middle of everything where you might have a lull in offense, it may pick back up later. But I think the beginning of the game where Chicago's able to pick up 2 or 3 runs, that's going to be the deciding factor that Pittsburgh will never be able to come back and overcome. It's just a heads and tails better team. There's a lot of experience on one side and very, very little experience on the other. And when it comes to pitching, Cool's going to be able to go out there and throw what 3 of the main guys out of that starting 9 are not only able to hit, that's what they prefer to hit. The guys on the Pittsburgh side have never seen anything like a Kyle Hendricks in a real game setting. Only 2 of them. The rest of them have never seen someone like a Kyle Hendricks in a real regular season game setting where he's going to go out there and pitch as long as he can, not go out there and pitch an inning or 2 innings in spring training and not even give it all he's got. So because of that, the only thing that I think that could prevent this game from being completely one-sided would be weather. So take that as it is. But I'm going to lay a 1.5 with Chicago Cubs on opening day because we're getting it at such good value at minus $1.05. And that is your free premium play for opening day, guys. Now, there's 5 other games that I'm looking at. We'll have more premium plays posted on the site for all of the people that sign up. Some will be given away on the live show. We're going to have NBA. We're going to have NHL. We had another great day today. We profited again. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you win, what you lose, as long as you turn profit at the end of the day. Go to chasewins.com. Get with the best service in the business, and I'll see all you guys in the winner's circle. Happy opening day, everyone.